Hi, I'm Brianna.
And I'm Akira.
And you're watching
Dante's Boxing Nation.
Brothers and sisters, I don't know what this world is coming to.
Hey yo, check this out, this is Flavor Flav, and if you want the whole truth, and nothing but the whole truth, so help the whole truth. Hey yo, you better listen to Dante, baby. Dante!
We good? What's going on, guys, and welcome to another great edition of the Dante's Boxing Nation show. I am your host, Dante, and we are back. Man, we had a hell of a weekend. We had a hell of a weekend of boxing. We're going to talk about it. Showtime and PBC, they just overwhelmed us with a whole bunch of cards this weekend. So let me go ahead. I'm rolling with my man, a.k.a. Rap King, on the phone with me today. Check out his YouTube channel, one of the realest boxing channels out there on YouTube. So go ahead and subscribe to my man, AK. What's going on, AK?
Hey, what's up, Dante?
All right, man. We're going to do this EPMD style, man. Just me and you going to get this cracking unless we get somebody else to call in. So, hey, man, it was a good weekend of boxing, AK. Let's just go ahead and start with, let's start with the UK. Let's start with Anthony Joshua knocking out Dominic Breazeale. I mean, this wasn't that much of a surprise. We all expected it. I think the only surprise was Dominic Breazeale's excellent chin, because he took some hellacious shots. I mean, he took more punches than Sean Porter did, and that's saying a whole lot. So what did you think about Dominic or Anthony Joshua's performance? As a matter of fact, before I ask you what you thought, I'll go ahead and tell you what I thought. I thought it was a great performance. The only criticism I have for Anthony Joshua is I wanted to see more body punches. I think if Anthony Joshua would have went to the body, he would have knocked this dude out easily. I think the fight probably wouldn't have went no more than 4 rounds if Anthony Joshua would have really invested in the body shots. What was your take on that fight?
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that, but at the end of the day, he do need to go a couple more rounds because he never been close to 12, so why not go 6 rounds? But like you said, on the high level, you need to set up body shots instead of just head hunting. But he showed a lot of good skills, good, basic skills, but for a guy who's a super heavyweight, he displayed them really good, you know. So he's looking really good for a guy with 18 fights or 17 fights, whatever the case might be. But he looking really promising, and in the future, him versus Wilder, that's going to be a huge fight, man. Like I told you before, Dante, I think Joshua is the number 1 guy in boxing right now, because if Floyd Mayweather out of the sport, Pacquiao out of the sport, Canelo can't be the number 1 guy because you got Joshua in the UK doing 600,000 pay-per-views fighting unknown fighters. You know what I mean? And you got Canelo, when he fights unknown fighters, he does like 3, or not even unknown fighters, name fighters, he does 300K. So like Joshua is really bringing it, and he's really, as soon as he becomes a star in the U.S., he's going to be really the next big thing, in my opinion.
And speaking of that, it's kind of ironic you bring up him being a star, AK, because it's crazy. These fans out here in America, they keep claiming that they love to see knockouts, and this is why Golovkin is so praised, et cetera, et cetera. But you have someone like Anthony Joshua who's getting knockouts just as impressive as Golovkin's knockouts. You know, his knockouts are just as impressive, if not more impressive. I mean, when you think about Anthony Joshua, he doesn't change up his style just because his opponent punches harder like Golovkin did against David Lemieux. Anthony Joshua, he's still going to fight an aggressive fight. He's still going for the knockout no matter who he's in the ring with. So you would think logically, or at least when we're using their logic, that they would actually love or praise a fighter like Anthony Joshua. He's supposed to be their cup of tea if we listen to what they say. But we know what time it is, and he's on a coincidental list, so he ain't going to get that kind of love. But,
Yeah, and another thing, Dante, his competition, I hear people talk crap about the fighters he be fighting. And I'm like, Brazil, how can you complain about Brazil when it's his first title defense and the guy is like 255 pounds, taller than him, bigger than him actually. And, how can you complain about an opponent like that who's undefeated? And his past, 4 opponents been undefeated. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't really, he been stepping up to the plate. Who's a guy who with 17 fights been fighting fighters like that? You know what I mean? He fought for the championship versus an undefeated fighter. The fight before that was versus an undefeated fighter who beat him in the amateurs and all that. So at the end of the day, I feel like he's if he just with a couple more fights, he's about to have the best resume at heavyweight. If he fights a named fighter.
I mean, you kind of beat me to the punch because I was about to say it, but I'm gonna add on to it. You can't complain about Anthony Joshua's resume, and you certainly can't complain if you're comparing him to Gennady Golovkin's resume. Because let me just say it one more time: Anthony Joshua, he beat 4 undefeated fighters in a row. And one of those fighters was Dylan White, who actually beat him in the amateurs. And he beat him convincingly in the amateurs. Okay? And then he beats a champion in Charles Martin. And now he's about to fight a 5th undefeated fighter, which is a very dangerous undefeated prospect in Joseph Parker. So, like you just said, AK, in a minute he's going to have the best boxing resume. Some people will argue that he already has the best boxing resume. But once again, it's really good that they got him fighting with Showtime. And, with Showtime and PBC, they're doing big things. So Anthony Joshua, he's going to get an enormous amount of exposure. And he should be a superstar, and Wilder versus Joshua, Wilder versus Fury, which unfortunately, because of Fury and his problems with, failing PED tests, which we're going to talk about that down the line. But unfortunately, with that happening, that's probably going to, suppress negotiations with a Wilder and Tyson Fury fight, because that's the fight that I know Wilder, he really wanted. He called out Anthony Joshua, so who knows? That may be the big heavyweight fight before Wilder versus Fury, which is still a fight that I want to see. Is there anyone on the line? Anyone else?
Yo, yes, Ego.
There we go. There you go. My man Boxing Ego just popped in. And you know what? I also wanted to say, go ahead and check out my website, nationboxing.com. Shout out to my man, boxing writer Tramiel Cook. He's writing articles on the website right now, so check out that website. And also check out Boxing Ego's website, boxingego.com. So, as you heard, Ego, we were just talking a little bit about that Anthony Joshua performance. I said it was a great performance. I just would have liked to have seen more body shots. I think he would have got him out there a little earlier if he invested in more body shots. Your quick take on that fight before we move on, Ego.
I agree with everything AK was saying about he's fighting undefeated after undefeated. We got to be realistic. You know what I mean? People are like, oh, Lomachenko, he did all this in 7 fights or whatever amount of fights he has, but he also hasn't lost. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And Anthony Joshua, he has 17 fights, all knockouts. He's selling out arenas in 30 minutes, and he looked good against a guy who is bigger, undefeated. Whether you rank Dominique Brazil or not, he's still a former Olympian who stopped Amir Mansour, and that's another named person. So I seen the post-fight interview with Brazil, and he looked like Jeff Goldblum in The Fly. His eye looked horrible. I don't know if you guys seen it, but he got a number done on him. You know what I mean? And he even admitted it.
Yeah.
That Joshua, he said the better man won tonight, and he was humble in defeat and stuff like that. So, the kid is nice. He just needs to sharpen up. But it's funny because people are calling for, Joshua got to fight Tyson Fury next. You know what I mean? Certain fighters always have to do the most to get an ounce of respect.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep. No doubt about it.
You said, Golovkin is a great fighter for his division. His division's kind of lackluster, but he has probably, 30 fights? And when's the last time it was an undefeated guy who was bigger than him, who was, the heavyweight division, one punch can change everything, truly.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
You got to give props where it's due.
Yeah, and let me add on top of that Lomachenko situation. I mean, you can't really compare that to an Anthony Joshua situation because, first of all, Lomachenko, he turned pro around, 28, 29, somewhere in between 28 and 30 years old. He's on a fast track. He has no choice but to do that. He can't have, a typical type of buildup that fighters, young fighters that turn pro usually have. You can't do that. You have to be rushed just like Guillermo Rigondeaux was. Just like Ika Beabuchi will be, once he gets cleared to fight. You don't have any choice but to step up in competition because you're older. So that's not, it's not like he's 21 years old or he's 24 and he's just said, you know what, I want to be the first person to go from amateur to pro and win a title in like my third fight. That wasn't the situation. Now, if he would have turned pro at 22, 21, and he did that in 7 fights, then you could compare him to someone like Anthony Joshua. But it has to be apples and apples. It can't be apples and oranges. And that situation would be more like apples and oranges. On top of that, Lomachenko, if you include the World Boxing Series fights, he actually has more fights than 7. He has, I think he had, how many fights did he have in the World Boxing Series, which was without headgear? I think he had about 7, 8, or 10 fights, in that series. So if you include those fights, he had more. But yeah, you can't compare that at all. But anyway, I just can't wait to see Anthony Joshua get the exposure and the respect that he deserves. Like I was just saying, it sucks that he's getting knockouts sometimes, a lot of times faster than Golovkin is, and these fans, they claim this is what they like, and they're not giving him that same type of reception that Gennady Golovkin is getting. So, but it is what it is. So let's move down to the Chris Eubank. This was really just a showcase performance. He knocked out Doran, and obviously Doran wasn't on his level, but Eubank, he had to defend his title, and now he moves on to possibly fight against Gennady Golovkin. Eddie Hearn, he says he's trying to basically crack the deal or get a deal within the next 48 hours. That's what he just said yesterday. So hopefully, we hear something in the next couple days. Now, Arab King, I want to ask you, man, do you like that fight? Do you give Eubank any chance against Gennady Golovkin? Can he expose him in any kind of way, win, lose, or draw?
Well, definitely, if he could take Golovkin punch, which I heard he has a really good chin. You told me yourself that he spars heavyweights and he takes their punches. So if he's able to take Golovkin punch, he does have good boxing skills. So, I mean, he's not, a Floyd Mayweather type of fighter who doesn't get hit. But at the end of the day, if he could take Golovkin punch, and with his type of skills, if he could go 12 rounds, that'd be a really interesting fight. So I would like to see that fight.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say this, just watching the Doran fight, if I could take anything away from Eubank, the one thing I didn't like, and I don't know if he was just doing this because he didn't care who he was in the ring with, he just felt, was a nobody, but I noticed Eubank kept throwing this lazy jab, and Doran was actually countering Eubank's jab. And I was like, man, if you getting countered by Doran with that jab, Golovkin is going to destroy you. So, I mean, but once again, it could just be him fighting to the level of his competition. But I truly believe as long as Eubank stays off the ropes, as long as he doesn't just back straight up, and he gets on the inside, Eubank has an excellent uppercut. He throws that uppercut like a lead right hand, and he's very accurate with it. So that would be a great punch for someone like Gennady Golovkin. On top of that, I believe that Eubank is a good inside fighter. So I don't know if I would lean towards Eubank, but I think he has a style to at least show us what Golovkin might be made of. Maybe. What's your take on that, Ego?
Yeah, I mean, if Triple G can't get fights that he like championship fights, Danny Jacobs probably fighting Sergio Mora, and then it looks like Billy Joe Saunders. It don't look like he want to fight him. I want a couple of things me way. Like, no, you don't want to fight Triple G.
Yeah, you think Eubank don't want to fight him?
No,
Canelo.
Billy Joe Saunders.
Oh, Billy Joe Saunders. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Canelo.
Oh no, BJ definitely don't want to fight him.
Yeah, but Billy Joe Saunders, he don't look like he want to fight him. I've seen him he waited till the day Triple G versus Wade got announced, and then tweeted something about, "I'll come to the U.S. to fight Golovkin." Like, you don't wait till another man has another fight. So again, if you can't get Canelo, you can't get Danny Jacobs, can't get Billy Joe Saunders, then who else is there without him moving up? I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You already beat David Lemieux. So yeah, it would have to be a guy like Chris Eubank. Possibly it could be another Curtis Stevens type fight where he's not favored, but maybe he could push Golovkin back and use his youth and his strength to make it interesting. I mean, he wouldn't open up as a favorite even in the UK, but I give Triple G and team credit because they're willing to go to the UK. You know what I mean? You look at Canelo versus Liam Smith, a guy I literally have never seen fight. I mean, have you guys watched Liam Smith fight?
No. And I just
Exactly. And most likely Canelo's not going to fight him in the UK. So I do give Triple G, if he is fighting Eubank, credit just at least being willing to go across the pond. I don't think Eubank has the experience to beat Triple G, but his athleticism, his uppercut, he has a good corner with a legendary father. Maybe he can make it interesting. So, I mean,
that worst case scenario, yeah. I totally agree. I
like,
just
kind of like a bigger Curtis Stevens. You know, I mean, Curtis Stevens is powerful, but he's short.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's more comparable in height to Golovkin, he can maybe make it interesting with his athleticism, and possibly. I mean, realistically, this is bad to say because I just said that Eubank Jr. doesn't have all the experience in the world, but based on his attributes, stylistically, it could be possibly Golovkin's toughest fight.
Yeah.
And mainly because Golovkin hasn't fought that echelon of fighter like an Andre Ward. You know what I mean? Even a Gilberto Ramirez, that'd be another, you know what I mean, a guy who can maybe take your punch a bit better, 6'2", rugged, things like that. So I think those are all kind of like tougher fights for him. You know what I mean? If he fights someone who's bigger than him, who could maybe take his punch better, has some power of their own, and has the heart. So I do like that from Chris Eubank. Whether he's acting or not. A lot of people just, he's lying, he doesn't really want to fight him, but what he's showing the public, he doesn't seem scared of Golovkin, so that's good. If you're fighting a guy like Golovkin to not show any fear, then that, you know, I mean, that's a good first step.
Yeah, that's called the coincidental yellow streak right there. You know, of course he's going to be scared.
Remember,
you know.
Remember when Broner called him a mistake and they said he didn't want to fight him, and he said like, I'm not fighting Broner. You don't got a title.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna waste my time. But they said Broner was afraid of Matisse and didn't want to fight him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and you know one thing that Ego said about Belly Sanders. I don't know if y'all seen the interview on Dante Boxing Nation show. On his channel where Jacob said that he called him a paper champion, and I'm like, how can Sanders say that when he won his belt fighting a guy who won his belt, won a vacant belt, I should say. So you're a paper champion too, then, Sanders. You know what I mean? So he talking crap, and he over here ducking Golovkin. And if you think Jacob is a paper champion, well, fight Jacob then. You know what I'm saying?
And that's a good fight too. And I just have to say for the record, because you know I have the interview on my channel. Danny Jacobs, he talked about how great that fight would be between him and Gennady Golovkin. And I have to say, man, it sounds like right now Danny doesn't want the fight either against Gennady Golovkin. So, I mean, now he talked about him wanting money, and it has to be the right amount of money. So right now it seems like he doesn't want the fight either. But if that's not the case, if Danny is not going to fight him, yeah, you're right, AK. Why doesn't BJ step up and they fight against each other? And then someone down the line could fight against Golovkin later on, possibly. You know, so
yeah, and I agree with that. I think the tone of Jacob, it just get me that it makes me feel like he don't want to fight. But knowing HBO, they do try to lowball people, man, like they did to X-Man. Giving
Walters,
them
Rodrigo,
500. Yeah, 500.
You better take that side bet, Dante.
Huh? You said take the side bet?
Side bet.
What side bet?
The Lomachenko side bet. You better take
it. Yeah. I get $20. I get $20, but if I win, I get $500. Yeah,
nobody's taking no side bet. Let me add this since we're talking about Walter Lomachenko, because I did a video about this saying, explain to me how Lomachenko is this massive, other than HBO and maybe Top Rank and ESPN promoting, Lomachenko better or who you think is a better fighter, name how he's this massive with his massive A side when they're both doing about comparable numbers.
The exact same numbers.
Yeah, almost the exact same numbers. And the guy who Walters had this fake ass draw with just stopped Javier Fortuna. You know
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't even a draw with Nicholas Walters.
He
Walters
dominated. He dominated Sosa.
Yeah, he won that Sosa fight. So you know what I'm saying? So that was it. I don't know if that was that his first fight at 130?
That was his first fight at 130. That was his first fight.
Exactly.
Well,
and now Sosa's a champion.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes to show you that he was that workman, tough Philly attitude. I think he's from Philly. That all that he was providing for Walters, but still losing. It just shows you the level of competition he was giving Walters. So you got to give Walters props. The first fight.
Boxica, I give you the answer to that. I'm gonna give you what Bob Arum said.
Man, you beat me to the punch. Go ahead.
To that. He said that Lomachenko is the A side because he's simply the best.
Because
right. So I'm like, if he's simply the best,
oh my God,
shouldn't Rigondeaux be the A side in all of his fights?
There
Even
you go.
versus Lomachenko, he should have been the A side because Rigondeaux is simply the best. Nobody could fuck with him. But
the funny thing is you get somebody who will argue and say Andre Ward isn't the A side versus Kovalev because they don't like him. They'll just say, oh, he's inactive, so he's not. Kovalev's the best. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's simply the best because you told me he's the best is not technical. The other thing is this. If he's simply the best, then why did he simply lose his second fight to Orlando Toledo?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It was he tried and he looked good in the 12th round, but he still lost. A loss is a loss is a loss. And it wasn't like a Sosa type of draw loss. He really lost that fight. Yeah, okay, Toledo was dirty, fighting dirty, came overweight, but he still lost the fight. Maidana was fighting dirty versus Floyd, but guess what? He found a way to get it done. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't say someone's the best just because you said they're the best. Lomachenko, skill-wise, looks like he has potential to be one of the best, but put him with Walters. Maybe we see a new star emerge. We don't know.
Once again, my man AK literally took the words right out of my mouth. I was about to say, AK, I'll tell you exactly why he's the A side. Because he's pound for pound the best fighter in the world. Because that was exactly what Bob Arum said in my interview. Now, like you said, though, but you guys completely exposed the double standards right there, because if that's the point, then people should not have been complaining about, like you just said, AK, Guillermo Rigondeaux. People shouldn't complain about Andre Ward, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We know it's all hypocrisy. And I want to just say, once again, I'm putting a bulletin out right now. I want everybody to know, all the decaps, if you guys want to get on the show and you want to talk, and if you disagree with everything we're saying, you think it sounds illogical, we're giving you guys an opportunity to come on the show. I done asked about 30 cats in my comment section to come onto the show. Every time I ask them to come on, all of a sudden they stop sending comments. You know why? Because
I'll tell you why.
Why?
Oh, you already know why.
No, tell us why, man. Tell us why they do it.
Well, I'm going to tell you why. The reason why is because it's the internet. There's no accountability. Everybody has a voice. Every time people say crazy stuff and they end up getting blocked, I go to their page and they got no followers, no views, no videos uploaded. There's no accountability that way.
Mm-hmm.
When you're on the show, you know what I'm saying, you're going to be held accountable for what you
Absolutely.
said. So if you misspeak and there's no basis for what you're saying, you will be challenged.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't want that type of pressure. So if you say, oh, Nicholas Walters, man, he got his ass whooped by Jason Sosa. You tell us how he got his ass whooped by Jason Sosa. You can't just say it like they do in the comment section, right? If you say Lomachenko, he is the best, or he's the A side over Walters. Okay, that's fine. Why? And then explain it. You're stupid. You guys are gay. That's why. Click.
Yeah, click. Yeah. Because once again, you explained it perfectly. It's therapeutic for them. They know that what they're saying is based off of emotion. They know it's based off of emotion and ignorance, and they know deep down the shit that we say, it makes logical sense. But they're not going to sit down and have a conversation with us, because they know that doesn't work when you actually are trying to have a logical conversation. Just making up shit and just speaking with pure cheerleader type of emotional talk. It's not going to work. But yeah, man, I asked a whole bunch of them to come.
The whole subject of Canelo Liam Smith, I've covered it extensively. I spoke and voiced my opinion. And do you realize that majority of the people know what it is and agree with me that I've seen in the comment section? But there are a couple of detractors, and not one of those people are telling me how it's a great fight that they've been summoning and requesting for boxing. No one's saying that. No one's saying. They say, "Oh, Ego, you hate Canelo. You just hate Canelo. You're a Canelo hater." You know what I mean? That's all they're saying. They're not saying, "Oh, you're a hater because you said this and this was a lie. You lied on Canelo." You know what I'm saying? They're not doing that. They're just saying because you don't like the fight, which is I have every right to not like a fight like that. They say you just hate Canelo. You know what I mean? But no one's telling me how Liam Smith has a chance in there, how he should pull the upset, how it's a great fight. What Liam Smith, who is he beat? They're not telling me those things.
Yeah, and waiting till you guys. I interviewed Floyd Mayweather Sr. today. Waiting till you guys see how he reacted and responded when I asked what he thought about Canelo versus Liam Smith.
Hey. Man, did you see how on the video on your page how Danny Jacobs?
Yeah. Who?
Canelo. So you're saying Canelo's fighting a guy I've never heard of before?
Yeah.
That's pretty much the consensus from what I've heard from real boxing fans. He's a professional fighter and part-time commentator, and he's only one division up from Liam Smith, and we've never heard of him. What does that tell you?
Okay. Yep, absolutely. But like I said, just trip out. I mean, what Floyd Sr. did was pretty much on the same lines, but y'all gonna trip out because you know how Floyd get down. But it's hilarious, man. He talked about
upload that.
Yeah. You guys are gonna see that tonight. He talked about Canelo fighting Liam Smith. He talked about Canelo giving up his belt to not fight Gennady Golovkin. He talked about Keith Thurman. What he said about Keith Thurman was pretty interesting. So I'm gonna just upload it and let you guys check it out. But it'll be up tonight. So let's move on. Man, I thought that was an impressive performance. A lot of people told me I should really check him out. They said he was a special talent at the 154-pound division, but I didn't really know until I actually watched him, and I was really, really impressed. What did you think about him, E?
I thought he was really impressive. I mean, even look at the 154 division, even some of the prospects, to me, I'm not even being facetious, they show a little bit more of ability to give Canelo problems. Maybe they're not ready for Canelo, but I don't think Liam Smith is either. You know what I mean? And when I watched Jared Hurd, his uppercut was disgusting. Right up the side, it was sweet.
Yeah.
He beat Frank Galarza when nobody knew. Frank Galarza had a name. He was rising through the ranks, and he stopped Frank Galarza on Showtime, I think it was. So what he did with Oscar Molina backed him up. The combination punching, I said this before on Twitter, he reminds me of Broner, but a volume Broner. You know what I mean? The Broner was going to let his hands go. But there's a little bit of his swag when he's punching that kind of reminded me of Broner when Broner lets his hands go. But the thing is, Broner doesn't always let his hands go.
Yeah, he may be just a little bit more technically sound and more consistent. Like you said, he's more of a volume puncher. He doesn't really take off rounds. In fact, he increases. You know, he steps on the gas even more as the rounds progress. So because once again, it was Al Bernstein, I believe, he was saying, you know, Oscar Molina's only chance is to hope that Jarrett slows down because Jarrett is the aggressor. But Jarrett, you know, he's very, you know, economical with his punches. He doesn't waste anything. And by the 8th, 9th round, it was Oscar Molina who was slowing down. And I really love how Jarrett, he mixes his punches up. You know, some of them are touch shots. He'll throw a whole bunch of touch shots, and then he'll set you up with a couple big shots. You know, he was so unpredictable, he had Oscar Molina confused. And Oscar Molina, for those of you guys who don't know, is a deep amateur fighter. I mean, he went to the Olympics. He had over 240 fights. And Jarrett, compared to Jarrett, who only had 40 amateur fights and turned pro around 15, 16 years old. So that's the type of guy that he actually dominated this past weekend. So, man, the 154-pound division is stacked. I mean, that's a dangerous-ass division. I don't really see welterweights, you know, being so quick to jump up to 154 now because, like I was telling AK before the show, 154 is starting to look more dangerous than 147, man. I mean, you got Errol Spence at 147, but at 154 is just so many, like, really top-notch special type of fighters there. So It's a good time to be a boxing fan, man. Really, especially when we getting these free fights on PBC with Al Heyman, So that's what it is. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on to Thurman versus Porter. So Trish, you could throw that up now when you're ready. So Thurman versus Porter. Congratulations to Keith Thurman. Matter of fact, congratulations first off to Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Al Heyman in the PBC series, because this is considered the most watched fight of the year. All right, it's considered the most watched fight of the year. They had the biggest live gate in terms of revenue, and it was number 2 in terms of live gate seating and everything, behind Garcia versus Garcia versus Peterson. So congratulations when it comes to the success. Once again, for all the cats that was praying for Al Heyman's downfall, y'all better go home and start biting your lips some more, because it ain't gonna happen no time soon. And what's so crazy is, while HBO is doing budget cuts and we're getting less fights over there, this Saturday was a all Showtime PBC weekend, right? We had Thurman versus Porter doing record numbers, and then you had Showtime, CBS's cousin, basically. They're doing Anthony Joshua, right? And they're introducing another huge star to the boxing world in Anthony Joshua. So Showtime and CBS and PBC, they're doing really big things. So that's what that is. But what did you think about the performance? Did you expect it to be that close, AK? Or did you think it was close? AK, you there? Boxing Ego. All right, guys.
Aaron Martinez, who only had 4 knockouts, he got dropped hard.
Yeah.
We back, guys. So what was you guys talking about?
We were talking about the Keith Thurman fight versus Porter.
Okay. All right. Well, let's run it back. So let's start with you, AK, real quick. So, was the fight as close as a lot of people thought it was? All the judges scored the fight 115 to 113. What did you think?
Well, I had it 8-4 for Keith Thurman, and the reason why, like, a lot of shots that Porter was throwing, either they were blocked or they were non-scoring punches. What I mean by that, they were either landing on the back of Thurman. He actually was landing, just like Maidana versus Floyd, the punches that he was hitting Floyd behind the back. Porter was landing those on the back for some reason, and those shots don't count, or the head or the back shots, or punches below the belt. You can't count those. And the punches that did land by Porter was he did land a lot of shots, but some of them were blocked, or he missed. And Thurman came back too. So that's why if you watch the fight closely, you see Thurman land better shots and more hurtful shots too. And that's why I gave Thurman 8-4, and he took the championship rounds too. If you think about it, I think Sean Porter was fatigued, and that's why he wasn't pressuring the last 2 rounds, and he was trying to box Thurman, and he was really. I think I gave Keith Thurman the last 2, and Sean Porter really needed those two rounds to beat the champion, which he didn't.
Yeah, Keith Thurman, he definitely landed the cleaner shots. I mean, you could clearly see those shots landing. Some of Sean Porter's shots were a little smothered. I mean, he landed some were clean, but a lot of it was kind of smothered, partial lands and stuff like that. But the fight was close. I still haven't really scored the fight yet, but I didn't complain about the decision, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah,
it was.
I'll tell you one thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. If you watch the fight live, like I've been in fights live, and if you 20 seats behind, in the 20 seat. So, it's really hard to see the fight. You know what I mean? If you see 2 fighters on the ropes and let's say Sean Porter's throwing punches, you automatically think he's the one who's winning because it's hard to see. So for the people in the arena, I could see why they thought Porter won the fight. Plus, they thought Keith Thurman was going to knock him out anyways. So when they saw Porter, going for it, they started rooting for the underdog. But if
Yeah.
you watch it on TV, you could see Porter was missing like hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Like,
agree. I also think a lot of people, truthfully, they don't score boxing. Like they're easily influenced. Like they don't, like me, I have my own independent boxing brain. I don't need Jim Lampley or Paulie Malignaggi or anyone to score for me. I go off of what I see. You know what I mean? But a lot of people are easily influenced. Like, oh, who do you think won? Oh, who do you think won? And then they start formulating their opinion. But I think it was a great fight. It set some records, like in terms of like being a blockbuster success. But it's a fight that's it was a close fight, competitive. Both guys were hungry for it. I do say that, but I did have Thurman edging it out by a round or two, and it was based on his precision, accuracy, the clean punching. Like, here's a simple test. Go to Google and type in Thurman Porter photos, and I guarantee you, majority of the photos that you'll see would probably be Thurman's clean punches. There are going to be some photos with Porter, but you're going to see a lot with Porter's head up in the air, getting uppercutted, getting caught with hooks. You know what I mean? They showed one slow motion punch, and it was I'm like, Porter got a chin. He got a crucial two-piece. He got hit, and then he got caught with the hook, and his arms just flailed.
yeah.
And he ate it.
Yeah.
And the thing that makes it harder to score is Porter is so durable and that titanium chin. So even though he was probably hurt in some of those sequences, he jumped right on Thurman.
Yeah.
So it's hard to be like, oh, okay, he's losing, but he didn't get hurt. But I think he was hurt by some of those punches, but he's just tough. And the fact that he showed that much heart, he's tough as nails, it made it hard to score. But to me, it was kind of reminiscent of a Floyd Mayweather versus Cotto. Easy to get caught up into the emotions of it because, man, I missed that fight live because I was working. I was at the airport. Everyone's like, oh, Cotto got his nose bleeding. Floyd's getting beat. He's getting beat down. I'm like, oh, shit, Floyd's getting just destroyed. And then I later watched it, and Cotto had backed Floyd to the ropes. He threw 6 punches. 4 of them didn't land. 1 was partially blocked, and then 1 would be flushed. And people score it like for Cotto, like, oh, he was winning just because he was aggressive. But you have to look, Floyd was being a sniper, like, bow, hitting Cotto and making him pay. So you can't score like that, like AK was saying. If you throw 6 punches and aggressive, it's about effective aggression. You know what I mean? Porter sometimes smothers his work a little bit.
Oh,
right?
yeah, he does.
He's like falling in. So Keith Thurman, as soon as he created that space, he was landing punches that are eye-catching and like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And I think Porter got hurt more times than Thurman, too.
Yeah, you think Porter... Yeah, that's probably, He definitely got stunned more than Thurman did, no doubt about that. Because a lot of them shots he got caught, but he could have got knocked out. The average person would have got knocked out, so.
And see, that's what kind of makes it hard to score for Porter for me, is because I think it was like round 3. I had him winning round 3. I'm like, Porter's doing great. But in the last 10 seconds, he had Porter on the ropes, and Porter landed a mean punch, and it looked like it really woke Sean up.
Yeah.
And then in round 4, Sean seemed kind of hesitant, a little bit gun-shy at first, because I think he was hurt from the punch. So it almost like, I'm not going to say it kills what he did in round 3, but it's like you're not supposed to get hit that clean.
It was a lot of tug-of-war. A lot of tug-of-war, a lot of seesaw back and forth rounds, too,
Yeah, but one thing for sure, man, this fight was definitely the fight of the year, man, hands down, because both fighters was very skilled, and, man, it had me, man, I was, man, cheering the whole fight, man. That was the best fight I've seen.
That was from bell to bell, man.
And the crowds was standing up the whole time, too. That was nice to see, too.
And how many times?
I told people straight up, this versus Francisco Vargas and Salido, I'll take Thurman Porter all day because there's a level of technique, athleticism, fundamentals, and you still have the action and the energy. Like, to me, there's the rounds in the Salido-Vargas fight where I'm like, does either one of them have a game plan for what they're trying to do?
Yeah.
No, I'm being real. It was cool seeing people, like, knock their heads off and stuff, but I'm like, where's the adapting? Where's the game plan?
Yeah.
You've seen that. Sean Porter got hurt, and then he had to switch up his attack a little bit. Then he started hurting Thurman to the body. So it was way more of a level of adjustment from Porter and Thurman than I ever seen in Salido Vargas. It was like more like 2 zombies fighting when Vargas and Salido were fighting.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
like lack of a game plan. Like it's like nobody trying to make the adjustments to.
They're not
close
raising the
gap.
bar. Yeah, exactly. No one's adjusting. No one's raising the bar higher and higher and higher. You know, the bar is at the same level. Yeah.
With the Keith. Yeah, with the Keith Thurman fight, like you could see, like Porter, he will pressure sometimes, and then Keith Thurman will do the pressure another round. Like they will both adjust to each other in certain rounds, do different things, try different things if one thing is not working, which made it a great fight, you know. Okay. But I'll tell you one thing though that made Thurman look. I feel like if they have a rematch, Keith Thurman could work on a lot of things. One thing, sometimes Sean Porter would surprise him by coming in real quick, and you can't take an angle and slide off. So he was just back straight. Instead, he should smother him by just not going backwards, but going forward and smother Sean Porter and hold him. That will won't make him look bad when he was backing on the straight line. And another thing, he was telegraphing a lot of shots. Like I always say, Keith Thurman stays telegraphing. It reminded me of Fight Night Champion, the game, round 2. You know, if y'all remember them haymakers we used to throw, that's Keith Thurman all day right there, you know. And the outside, when he was fighting Sean Porter, he was throwing mad haymakers the whole night. You know, he never set up anything, try to land a 1-2 without telegraphing. He was just swing with the right, swing with the left, and it's really hard to land like that. Yeah. That's why he was doing as good in the outside, and I think Porter actually landed more jabs than Thurman did. So that's another reason.
The thing to me, it shows the separation. People get mad, but it shows where Floyd is from a wisdom, for sweet science. Yes, Thurman Porter was great for the fans and stuff, but Thurman being a young fighter, I think as he matures and goes through fights like this, Diego Chavez and stuff, he's going to learn more and more that when you need to be the crowd pleaser and when you need to just kind of set things up, because I think he was clearly the better of the boxers, and he let Porter take him out of his element and into the trenches when he should have probably boxed more in spots. But I think Thurman had the mindset of I'm not run time. I'm going to spin throw the
yeah. Oh, yeah.
You when to do that. You have to know when to be more the matador, fuck with the crowd is thinking, and things like that. And I think that's what Floyd does. He's it's always about working smarter, not harder. Yes, it may make it less competitive, but then you don't have to worry about the backlash of getting booed when they announce that you won, or people thinking you lost the fight because you fought all smart. And
if you a bad mamma jamma, it ain't supposed to be competitive. You supposed to dominate. You know what I mean? So that's what that is.
That's good. That's a real good point.
Yeah, with Keith Thurman, I mean Usain Bolt. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody competing with Usain Bolt. That's what it is, because he dominates all the time.
But Dante, what about the fanfare numbers the week before? Were they not good enough?
Yes. The fanfare numbers?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing fans talk about.
They're saying
that about how the fanfare. They said PBC's going down because fanfare's numbers weren't good enough. They weren't strong enough.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, the very next week, we get the most watched fight on TV by PBC. We know what time it is. Do you
guys think Al Heyman's doing it right with PBC?
We already know what time it is. I mean, right now, the numbers don't lie. I mean, if we just, it ain't even what we think. I mean, if we go by statistics, there's no doubt about it. There is no other promoter, I'm not calling Al Heyman a promoter, but there's no other promoters out there that are statistically doing the type of numbers that PBC are doing and putting together that many fight cards with undefeated fighters on the undercard. You don't have that. But let me go and close out and wrap this up. Just want to say real quick about Keith Thurman to add on to what you guys said. I think it's very impressive that Keith Thurman, he moves around. He doesn't really have this educated jab, right? And like AK said, he does kind of telegraph shots, but those hooks that he throws, they are beautiful and they're accurate. A lot of times they land, but he didn't look that comfortable on the ropes at times. And I think certain fighters, they're going to be able to take advantage of that. So, but we'll see. But that was the closest fight to Hagler-Hearns or even Hagler-Leonard. And with that note,
was Thurman's most difficult fight for sure.
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. And he passed the test. So congratulations to him. And we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I want to once again say thanks to, the DBM panel, a.k.a. Rap King, my man Boxing Ego, your boy Dante's Boxing Nation. We'll see you guys next week. On to the next one.